As of May 10th of 2026, there are currently 41 volcanoes which are actively erupting around the planet, a total which is one less than were erupting last week. One of these erupting volcanoes is Indonesia's Dukono volcano, which tragically caused the first volcanic fatalities of 2026 this week. As, on May 8th, the volcano produced its largest explosive eruption in more than 400 years, throwing boulders that fell on and crushed 3 people who had illegally ventured within the volcano's 4-kilometer exclusion zone in all directions surrounding its summit. Dukono has non-stop erupted since 1933 to some degree, with only 2 other world volcanoes having maintained longer continuous eruptions, Santa Maria in Guatemala since 1922 and Yasur in Vanuatu since about the year 1250. And now, here are this week's top volcano-related news stories, excluding that aforementioned disaster. In the Philippines, a major pyroclastic flow occurred at the Mayon volcano, its largest of the year, which reached more than 5 kilometers from its summit. Meanwhile, in Hawaii, the Kilauea volcano produced another episode of hours-long sustained lava fountaining, with minor amounts of tephra falling and lava fountains reaching up to 650 feet or 200 meters height. And, in Japan, a strong volcanic explosion from the summit of Sakurajima's southern cone occurred that was its largest in 6 months. Sakurajima, for reference, somewhat commonly produces these types of volcanic explosions, but during the last several months it had seemingly been producing a lower than average level of activity. That is why it was somewhat of a surprise when around 4 p.m. local time on May 8th, a plug at its southern summit cleared in a more violent than expected manner. This generated a 15,000-foot high eruption plume, along with perhaps even some short-distance pyroclastic flows that may have traveled up to 300 meters away, although I could not confirm that those pyroclastic density currents even happened. While spectacular, this eruption ultimately caused no harm because no people or structures were within its active 2-kilometer exclusion zone. More similar magnitude explosions could occur again in the next few weeks, but it is tough to determine a volcano's activity based off of only one volcanic-type explosion. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, the Mayon volcano, which had been continuously erupting for nearly 5 months, produced a strong eruption on May 2nd. While it was initially claimed that the eruption was triggered by a lava flow collapse, I personally do not think this is completely correct. Instead, I deem the eruption to have been caused by, and yes, I am paraphrasing from this linked scientific paper here, the failure of a perched accumulation of tephra in a drainage which released successive waves of pyroclastic flows. You might be wondering why I am pointing to this paper as it discusses Fuego's 2018 eruption, not Mayon. Well, that is because recent imagery has shown that essentially the exact same thing happened at Mayon. It just so happened that the generated pyroclastic flows did not have as long of a maximum runout as at Fuego in 2018, and there were no people or structures at the time within Mayon's 6-kilometer exclusion zone. What do I mean by this? Well, as successive ejections of ash, fragmenting lava flows, and more than 1,000 pyroclastic flows had occurred in the eruption thus far, it caused large amounts of tephra to pile up and filled the upper segments of Mayon's Miisi Gully. This buildup of still hot and cooling material continued until it reached a point of failure, possibly caused by the recent rapid advance of a lava flow in that sector, and this caused a landslide to occur. And this landslide then transitioned into a series of lengthy pyroclastic flows which scorched an area of 1.86 square kilometers and reached up to 5,080 meters away from Mayon's summit. Hot air on the newly emplaced pyroclastic flow deposits and from the pyroclastic flows themselves caused ash to rise into the atmosphere, and this then rained down on multiple nearby communities. Several additional shorter-length pyroclastic flows have occurred since, but in my opinion, it does not appear that any large-scale collapses will occur in the same drainage anytime soon, simply because most of what was unstable and could collapse already did collapse in that drainage on May 2nd. And on Hawaii's Big Island, the Kilauea volcano produced its 46th episode of sustained lava fountaining, which lasted for a little over 9 hours on May 5th. This eruption was smaller in all metrics than an average eruptive episode, but regardless still caused temperature to fall near the erupting vent, generated up to 650-foot-high lava fountains, and added 4.6 million cubic meters of lava to its caldera floor. The only vent which produced sustained lava fountains was the North Vent, which is located far away from structures within its 2018 summit caldera. Now, the next episode of lava fountaining may begin between May 12, 2026 and May 17, 2026 per the U.S. Geological Survey. And now, here is a quick list of all the world's volcanoes which are currently erupting. Additionally, here are some volcanoes showing signs of unrest which are not erupting as of the recording of this video on May 9th of 2026. As a final note, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube for supporting my work.